Alright, we're returning to Historic today to look at Thousand Moons Smithy again. I've played a deck on the channel with this card before, and I'm back trying to see if we can make it a little better. The original build of this deck was artifact heavy and was trying to utilize War of Invention to find and cast our Thousand Moons Smithy, or use Emery Lurker of the Lock in order to recast it from the graveyard. Obviously that is still present in this build of the deck, but since the last time that I made a video, we've had one very important spoiler that has made things very different in how we want to construct this deck, and that's going to be Simulacrum Synthesizer. It just so happens that both of these do happen to make essentially construct tokens, things that scale off of how many artifacts we control. One is a colorless construct, the other one is a white gnome soldier, but for the most part we are just going to make sure that we have these large creatures that scale off of artifacts. So Simulacrum Synthesizer is one thing that's different, but the very cool tech that we're working on in this deck is going to be the interaction between 3 Steps Ahead, Simulacrum Synthesizer, and Thousand Moons Smithy. It's more or less going to be Simulacrum Synthesizer that we want to work with, but the big thing is that 3 Steps Ahead is not only a counterspell that can serve us well in the beginning of the game, but once we have enough mana to hold this thing up, we will be able to hold it as a counterspell, and then if our opponent doesn't play anything very interesting, well, we are able to advance our own game plan at instant speed by cloning our Simulacrum Synthesizer, or by getting a Thousand Moons Smithy onto the battlefield to Legend Rule and trigger. Now, a cool thing is because we have a token copy, normally if we were to sacrifice the token copy, it's going to be gone from the game, exiled, whatever. But if we Legend Rule our Thousand Moons Smithy, well, an Emery is going to be able to recast it from the graveyard, and we'll continually be able to do that Legend Rule looping, sacking the non-token copy in order to continue to get more gnomes out of the graveyard. So we both have ways, and obviously Simulacrum Synthesizer can be cast from the graveyard as well with Emery, that's totally a thing. And so this is kind of the little engine that we're working with. Now, because we're playing Emery, it's important to kind of get her out early, so we are running Ornithopters in this deck, and one thing that makes sense with Ornithopters is these 3 copies of Retrofitter Foundry, which just help us play an early game, play a late game, kind of do whatever we need to do until Thousand Moons and Simulacrum and 3 Steps Ahead can get online. In terms of playing early and off of the bat, we're running Spell Pierce and No More Lies as early counter magic in order to make sure that we can survive until Simulacrum Synthesizer comes down, since prior to turn 3, we're not really doing a whole lot unless we have Ornithopter ramp into Emery. Some other things that we have are Dedicated Dollmaker. On ETB, this can either exile one of your opponent's creatures, or it can exile a Simulacrum or Thousand Moons Smithy in order to get a token copy of this. Now, the reason that this is in the deck versus something like an Ephemerate style effect that's an instant or sorcery is that it has the activated ability to give your tokens indestructible until end of turn. So say your opponent decides to Wrath the board in order to get rid of those Simulacrums and Thousand Moon Smithies, well, how about we give them all indestructible? Any sweeper will kill our opponent's blockers, and we'll be able to most likely push through and win from there. That's as far as the rest of this deck goes. We are running 1 copy of the Mycosynth Gardens. Can fix our colors, but that's not the reason that it's in this deck. If we tap essentially 4 mana, including the Mycosynth Gardens, in order to activate its 3rd ability, we can copy either Simulacrum or Thousand Moons, depending on if we need to get a Thousand Moons into the graveyard to recast with Emery, or if we need to just have a second Simulacrum Synthesizer on the battlefield to trigger off of our next Simulacrum, Thousand Moon, or Assimilation Aegis. Assimilation Aegis, just another decent card. On ETB gets to exile something, and if it's a good creature, we can make one of our constructs into it, or our Emery, I guess. And yeah, other than that, we are in Historic. We're running Fabled Passages. The only tapped land will be the Meticulous Archive here, because Surveil is pretty relevant with Emery. And other than that, that is the deck. So this is Historic Constructs, the next level of my Thousand Moons Smithy grinding and brewing. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure to check out the deck list in the video description below, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're a returning subscriber, commenting and liking the video is a very good way to help out this channel. With that being said, let's hop into some Historic here with the Construct deck, and see how good it can possibly be. Here we go. Alright, here we go. This is the first round. Let's try to make this a good start for the deck. We have the early Emery, which is good if we have an Ornithopter, but in this situation we do not. If we get to our third and fourth land though, 3 steps ahead, Simulacrum Synthesizer and Thousand Moons is not bad. I'm intent on giving it a try. We likely don't have a turn 2, but Mystic Sanctuary means that I should probably go find a blue land source. We will Fabled Passage right now to avoid Stifle if that's something that they decide to play, and we'll pass. Alright, they let us go through here. We will probably drop the Mystic Sanctuary, which is not super relevant for me right now, and then we'll get on to turn 3 for our first Simulacrum Synthesizer. Opponent goes for Crystalline Giant, which is pretty gnarly. We should have a pretty good set of blockers coming up soon. No More Lies is not bad, but I think we just crammed the board full of constructs. Unfortunately, the Crystalline Giant does have flying, which is awkward. Dovin Grand Arbiter is here. Dovin's going to get bigger. They now have Menace on their flyer, so we are getting hit for 3 a turn. Let's drop this, go for a Thousand Moon Smithy here. And we get to make 2 creatures here. So we have 8 power on board here on turn 4. It's not too shabby. We'll see what opponent does with their 3 mana on their turn 4. Hopefully it will not be as impactful as our turn was. We are 1 away from being able to do a Thousand Moon Smithy flip, but we should be able to Simulacrum plus Emery next turn. We'll see if they want to attack in. It's looking like Dovin will probably get hurt this turn. Let's see what their activation is. They can make a blocker and then Dovin actually does stick around. That's fine. Probably going to be a blocking situation for them, trying to kill one of my creatures, but we will be able to grow them with Simulacrum and Emery, so it's not very good for them. Crystalline Giant, so this is Tempered Steel. They now make a 3/3 here. Vigilance is tough. Okay. Well, we do have our Fabled Passage. We do not have the required things to get a Thousand Moon Smithy to trigger and flip. Let's grab blue mana here to set up Mystic Sanctuary, and then we can decide to hold 3 steps ahead, or we can go Emery Simulacrum Synthesizer. We get hit for 8 here, so we can kind of just try to guarantee our opponent dies on the next turn. We'll start with an Emery. Will we start with an Emery? I can 3 steps ahead, copying Simulacrum Synthesizer. Opponent is on low enough mana that that's almost a good move, but I need to get my creatures big enough to get through to Dovin. So we go Simulacrum Synthesizer, trigger. We find a Retrofitter Foundry next, which is actually really good. That makes us able to block, so we will do this. And with a little bit more mana here, we'll drop an Emery. We actually mill that Retrofitter Foundry, which is awkward. It's fine. I can just keep it on the battlefield. And then I believe we go like this. Try to take out Dovin. If they want to keep their Dovin, they have to lose a creature. Otherwise, they will end up just double blocking my 7/7, and I get to kill the Crystalline Giant. Looking like the double sub block, so they want to keep that Dovin around. He'll start to pump out the 3/3s. Well, let's see what comes next. Okay, so they're just going to destroy the board here. That's fine. They'll make a 3/3 with Dovin, but we should be pretty good at flipping our board as well. We're going to go for another Emery here, and then probably a Legend Rule on the Thousand Moon Smithy, which we can start setting up that loop on. I'll go Surveil here. We'll try to see if we want a good draw here. A land is fine, but at this point I just want gas. We now get to hold 3 steps ahead here, which is nice. 3 steps ahead on Simulacrum Synthesizer is great because we also get the Scries. Alright, so we will counter whatever big spell they play next. Detention Sphere is probably going to take out my Simulacrum Synthesizers, so we just say counter the spell. Unfortunately, we can't do that and 3 steps ahead because we're missing our last 2 mana. Unfortunate. So we'll just pay the 3 for this, counter that spell. It's a good thing we held that up, but that is the power of 3 steps ahead. Can be offensive, can be defensive. It's all good. Ginger Brute, kind of big here. We're looking at a 2-turn clock now. Hopefully we can make this work. Cannot flip here. We'll go Emery, recasting Simulacrum Synthesizer. And does that leave me enough mana for Thousand Moon Smithy? Yes, it does. Another Synthesizer on top. I think we'll take that. And then we go like this. Should we take a 3 steps ahead onto the top of our library? I think we should. Then we'll back up Simulacrum Synthesizer after that. I think that's fine. We go for the Legend Rule here. We will just choose this one. And we get to make about 60-ish power. Unfortunately, we are dead in the air. I forgot they had that second Thopter. And then same with the Ginger Brutes. Looks like we are going to be taking the loss here. Opponent is just going to make it through a Tempered Steel. Okay, well, it's not like we didn't put up a good fight. 60 power on turn 8 or 9 is not bad. Definitely a high ceiling on this deck. Let's hop in around 2, see if we can streamline the game plan a little bit. Yeah, come out with a win. Here we go. This is round 2. Alright, here we go. Nice Weird Al Yankovic reference in our opponent's name. We start this one off with Retrofitter Foundry. Can produce us some blockers in these early turns when we don't have the mana to cast Simulacrum Synthesizer. We have all the kind of large payoffs that we want to be playing in this game in the opener, so this is fine. Let's do a Retrofitter Foundry. Turn 2, we can activate, make a Thopter. Rat Colony is what we're facing. These Retrofitter Foundry tokens are going to line up massively. We pass here, see if they attack into my Retrofitter block. Another Rat Colony comes down. Wait for the attacks to come in. They do go in, so we'll make a Servo. Servo will block. Oops, excuse me. And they're just down to 2-1 Rat Colony. Sweet. Now I think we go for Simulacrum Synthesizer. We may decide to take a hit on one of the rats here. Do need to make white. Here's Simulacrum Synthesizer. We get to scry 2. And then we do have our 4th land here, so I'm going to start looking for gas. We want to accelerate our game plan, not really hide behind here. Rats have Menace now. That is a problem. Assimilation Aegis might need to take out the Piper of the Swarm. If I do this, I can then decide if I want to play Thousand Moon or Assimilation Aegis. Both will trigger the Simulacrum Synthesizer, but if I play Assimilation Aegis, I'll be able to make sure that I get a block in. Alright, let's trigger, take out the Piper of the Swarm, make our 4/4, and now we have most likely a very good blocker. I am almost 100% certain that we want white out of this Fabled Passage. Lord Skitter's Butcher, fine. Creatures are going to gain Menace the end of turn, so it looks like they'll get in for 3. We do want white here. That way we don't have to Shock Hollowed Fountain. I think they give Menace, right? No, they go wide. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. So now, is it trade for my Construct? Am I happy to take 5 here? We're going to be making a... We're going to be making 1, 2, 3 more items with this Thousand Moon Smithy, so I think I am down to block, or down to not block, that is. Move to my turn here, and now this goes in tapped. We go for Thousand Moon Smithy. Here we go. We have 7/7s. I'll have to play 2 creatures here, but I think at this point I do end up blocking. They will attack in here, surprisingly. I wonder what flash abilities they have here. So seeing as they attack with these 5/1s, I think that it's going to be the case that if they can grow them, I'm dead, so I do need to block here. And then like the worst case scenario is they just trade. Okay, not too bad. Our things die, they just have rats and no more rat colonies. Ah, alright, that is a thing that you can do. Echoing Return, that's pretty nice. I think we will go ahead and flip here. Setting up for this next turn, we go Thousand Moon Smithy here. Alrighty, there we go. And we have 8/8, and we will go for an Ornithopter blocker as well, making these 9/9s. I'm feeling pretty solid here. We are much bigger than these rat colonies at the moment. They're not even at the point where they can attack. Alright, and then we want to decline this flip trigger. We will go Simulacrum Synthesizer here. And then we start to make tokens. Here we go. Murex is not bad, but I think No More Lies is probably a good one to hold up. We will run Dedicated Dollmaker here, and if we're allowed to untap, we do get to, oh right, I needed to, I think, make a copy of Simulacrum Synthesizer. Let's do that. Or actually, no, we probably would have wanted to do Thousand Moon Smithy. That's a bit more optimal because I get 2 things out of it. Also, being able to make it non-legendary is pretty big. That's one of the reasons that you play a Dedicated Dollmaker. Looks like our board was scary enough that opponent decided to concede. Again, we have about 60 power on the board towards the end of the game. So, pretty solid. Have not yet to see the sorcery or the instant sorceries come out in terms of interaction. Or sorry, I guess that'd all be instants. But we're definitely getting the board state there every game with our turning the corner on turn 3 to 4. So pretty solid. I think we are definitely at a good, happy ground here in Historic. And let's hop into round 3 and see if the next one will go just as well. Alright, here's round 3. We've had good rounds so far. Let's see if they will continue as we move forward. We have early Retrofitter Foundry. We can kind of do the same thing that we did last turn of creating a blocker early. Then we get to move towards Simulacrum Synthesizer things. Actually, I kind of take that back because we have these Meticulous Archives. I think I probably just play 2 lands, then go Simulacrum Synthesizer off of this. We'll play the Meticulous Archives later, I think. So let's make sure that this is our blue source. We'll go Retrofitter Foundry here. It's fine that they see that we're 2 colors. I'd be surprised if they were able to guess what I'm on given just that. We have No More Lies now, which is actually pretty solid. This means that we get to hold this up, and we have Retrofitter Foundry usage if that doesn't pan out. Let's hope that they drop something important here. Spelunking is pretty important. We'll get rid of that. And then let's go to our turn here. We found what we needed. We'll go for Simulacrum Synthesizer, and then now we decide for a couple of things. We can No More Lies, lording this Retrofitter Foundry over them. Assimilation Aegis is probably going to be nice as well because we can take out a Primeval Titan. Probably 3 steps ahead should be saved for the Primeval Titan as well. Oh, never mind. This is Cameo. We are in Bant doing Cameo things. Alright. So we probably want to get her at some point. We have to surveil here, though. We will keep the Assimilation Aegis because that was the plan. Pass. Let's see what the next play is. We have the opportunity to No More Lies here or Retrofitter Foundry. They're getting somewhat close to this Tameo 7. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. Sure. And I kind of want to hold this 3 steps ahead. Alright, cool. We'll get the No More Lies here. That is huge. And then we pass to our turn here. So I can not take out Tameo with the Assimilation Aegis. We'll have to just make a big creature this turn. Meticulous Archive can come in. And then another Thousand Moon Smithy is good. Okay, so let's leave that on top. We'll try to play these in such an order that it's flippable earlier rather than later. And if I play a Thousand Moon Smithy now, that gives me 2 creatures. That'll bring me to a total of 5 artifacts, which means that I can flip my Thousand Moon if I'm not worried about Tameo. It's actually the best. Oh, okay. It's actually not going to be the best if she does the -2, because then I won't be able to flip. But if she does a -2, then I don't have to worry about going to 7. So I think we just go Thousand Moons here. Trigger, trigger. Alright, 10 power on the battlefield. They'll need to do something big here. Will it be Tamiyo minus on my 2 creatures? Let's see. Will it be a board wipe? Alright, into the north. Snowland. Just a Rimewood Falls is the Snowland here. Now some big decisions here. They're going to decide if they want a minus or plus. I'm happy to see a minus here, and they're looking like they're targeting. Totally fine. We unfortunately cannot flip this, so that's sad. So I think we'll just hold up 3 steps ahead here. Worst comes to worst, we make some creatures with Retrofitter Foundry. And then we are 1 mana away from being able to 3 steps ahead plus clone. It is looking like I probably need to get rid of this guy, so we will go like this, counter spell, and then we'll also make a Retrofitter token. They might have a land here. -2 again, cool, this is nice. We make a servo. And we have 4 out of 5 tokens, or 4 out of 5 artifacts required to flip, sadly, so we're just not quite close enough. That's not going to happen. We'll go with Emery. And now with an Emery on the battlefield, I think I legend rule here. Make another token, or 2 another tokens, that is, and then we put Tamiyo to 1. So she cannot stop my things from attacking in. It's lethal next turn. They definitely can play Supreme Verdict in this deck, but then we just grind out with Retrofitter Foundry, so it's fine.
I have developed a new hypothesis.
Tamiyo pluses. White Sun's Twilight, so they'll destroy the board. That's unfortunate. We cannot tap once again. We'll go Fabled Passage here, and then it is looking like Simulation Aegis might need to just be played here for the trigger on Simulacrum Synthesizer. Take out one of these guys, and we'll make a 5/5. We then pass and turn, say go. We'll see if they have targeted removal here. Okay, sure.
Every story is worth listening to.
We can tank quite a lot of this damage. Another Snowland coming out. There are some scary Snowlands, but I think for the most part this is just looking like ramp, and they're using it like that for sure. Just making things happen here. Now we gotta worry about this Tamiyo because she can bring back White Sun's Twilight. I think I'm going to shuffle, find a land here. I think I'd like blue. Now we have enough for our next 3 steps ahead if we find that, or a Mystic Sanctuary. Let's make a servo after Tamiyo does her thing. We'll see if she minuses to get back White Suns. She will need to plus. Okay, so she does go for Mr. Witherbloom here. And what's the combo? Basically just make a bunch of pests, 10 life to untap all lands. Okay, sure. Kind of just a fun of one. And I think that we do make the Retrofitter Foundry, but we do also just kill one of these things. Now we should be able to flip my 1000 Moonsmithy. They do get to draw, that's kind of awkward. And here we go. Make their land, we will make our servo. Auto pay. Alright, here we go. Move to our turn. We get to kill one of these. We will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flipping this, and then we just have Meticulous Archive to work with. Surveil 1, we don't need another Retrofitter Foundry, we actually just want a 3-drop. And then I will go ahead and kill Big Tamiyo here. Little Tamiyo is less of a problem. We only have 3 poison right now, so it's okay.
More data will be needed.
Yeah, they do get to draw here, which sucks, but this is okay. So we will probably... We're going to decide Retrofitter or Mycosynth copy Simulacrum Synthesizer as we go up to 6 poison here. Oh, one with the multiverse. Okay, so we're just casting big stuff here, sure. So I think there goes Beladros Witherbloom. Each upkeep. He will need to chump. We should be able to go over the top if we play this right. Alright, another flyer, you got it. Alright, they'll untap all their lands here, and now what happens? So Tamiyo can bring something back next turn. Oh, Villainous Wealth. That's going to be a problem. Alright, well, have fun. This is kind of just a bunch of big spells. It's sort of just ramp into board wipes and large spells. I think that's the name of the game. So we were probably going to get our back broken by just, you know, this Villainous Wealth. Seems like it'll do the job. They could whiff. They could whiff pretty hard. We have a lot of artifact synergy, so as long as they don't get too many synergistic cards in their 6, we should be okay. But let's see how bad it is. Emery, fine. Simulacrum Synthesizer, not happy about that. Dedicated Dollmaker is tough. Okay, so they don't trigger their Simulacrum Synthesizer. That's good. And the only awkward part is that they do have the Dollmaker. That will take my construct. Oh, actually non-token permanent. We would be happy with like kind of either the ones that are taken here. Okay, so they do take a token here. They could have taken a copy of Tamiyo, I guess. And then they could have brought back their Villainous Wealth. That would have been kind of nuts. Oh, I see Ugin's in here. Okay, it looks like our path to victory here is going to be a tough situation. Not looking very likely. Lush Portico. Tamiyo Plus is looking for what card? What do they want to be finding right now? Farewell. Okay, Farewell definitely ruins me. And yeah, I think I'm pretty confident that this is just land one with the Multiverse or Omniscience and then go off. Do we really have a way to win through this? Honestly, not really. We pass. Oh, there we go. We go to 6 poison, and then we will Mycosynth our Simulacrum Synthesizer. Alright. Just becomes a copy, doesn't actually enter. And we really need a artifact here. Unfortunately, that will not be it. And it looks like we are just going to sit here and take some damage. We have a 7/7 blocker. No flying blockers currently, but I think taking 4 is not the end of the world. We don't attack, we end turn, we say go. They do get to make another pest, and I think that at this point it's looking bad for us. We can make more 1/1s on the ground. This 4/4 in the air will eventually kill us, and I think they just Tamiyo minus here, getting something nasty. They can actually just go again for Villainous Wealth, maybe? They go for doubling season, okay. They must have a Planeswalker in hand. Alright, I think we are probably just going to be done here. Let's Retrofitter Foundry make some tokens. I will make 1 flying blocker, I suppose. If the mana allows for it. I think I'm 1 off, right? Well, you know, I could just make another servo. I think we're dead regardless. Let's just tap out and see what opponent's got for us here. So doubling season, we'll drop some planeswalker. It's going to be Ugin to clean up my board. We will be retained with, I think... Oh, never mind. Yeah, it's just Ugin ultimate. They can chain into another planeswalker. And I mean, yeah, at this point it's just... this is overwhelming value. Goldos, cameos here again to go -7. Huge. And nice. Let's see how big of planeswalkers we're going to run into here. Cameo minus, sure. Oh wait, actually, for whatever reason they made a bunch of constructs. What was that for? Doubling season is just two doubling seasons. What was the artifact? Oh, it was Golos that made the one token that got tripled. Okay. A Johnny for 16. Oh, this is crazy. And then this will be the poison finish to end us off. So we'll let them finish things off here. And then the doubling season will not affect a Johnny. It will just be 1x1 here. Pretty cool deck. We pretty much just had our window in the beginning and was not fast enough to make it. It was a very clutchly timed... where is that card? White Sun's Twilight that got the game through for them. But hey, this is overall a pretty good one. A lot of exciting gameplay happening, so I'm all for it. No more Planeswalker activations. We'll have to go from hand. This Golos doesn't do anything. It does make a lot more tokens, but unfortunately that would be cast from hand. I might survive another turn here. They'll just hit me for 4, sure. Looks like if they found that farewell, they're pretty much not going to be wanting to play it. There's a Simulacrum Synthesizer. It's our best play right now. We make another gnome. Simulacrum number 3. Triple trigger. We'll find another artifact here, most likely off of the scry. 3 steps ahead will do it. And yeah, I mean, at the very least, we can block. It is otherwise not looking super great for me. We'll probably end up making that flyer this turn, just so that they have to find another way to kill me other than with Witherbloom over 3 turns. Let's just go ahead and tap out right now. We will sack one of our servos. And then we go untap, and then we make another servo. Untap. Or sorry, we make another Thopter, that is. Alright, cool. Now we're fully tapped out. Opponent can go on with their game plan. And yeah, let's see what happens. So they can actually double a Johnny emblem, and then I'm just 2 spells away, so this game likely will be over soon. But I'm kind of curious to see how wide they can go, and it looks like they're also trying to do that. I would actually be kind of down to see them go for Villainous Wealth again, because they have so much mana. They need to drop another Tameo to do it, though, so that doesn't quite work. Ugin Plus gives them 4 mana, which means that the following turn is another banger for them. Alright, well that'll be number 2 Johnny Emblem, and probably a big attack coming in. Sure, Golos, here we go. Oh, nice, they found a track, so that's huge for them. Circuitous, they should have done Circuitous Route first, then the deck a little bit. Oh, actually, no, that would just kill me. Okay, there we go. Alright, cool. We are finally dead here. Opponent absolutely popped off with this deck. This actually is extremely reminiscent of a commander deck that I built a long time ago with Golos, before Golos was banned as commander in that format. It was a very good time to be running big spells in your commander deck. Was always a interesting table experience. With that being said, that brings us to the end of round 3. We have rounds 4 and 5 coming up. Here we go. Alright, we're back for round 4. The start of this is looking interesting. It is almost a thing. This is almost a hand I'm happy to see. I wonder if I can Meticulous Archive, find something interesting, and then be happy with this. Spell Pierce and Ornithopter are useful early. Ornithopter kind of less so unless we find a Foundry. 3 steps ahead doesn't really do much currently. I'm going to mulligan on this one. I think we pick up a better hand here. Dedicated Dollmaker versus Spell Pierce is probably the angle that I'm looking at. We will keep the 6. And let's keep the Dollmaker. Well, okay, what does this look like? This is going to look like probably turn 2 into turn 3. Or hold up Spell Pierce for 2 turns, play an Emery, then Thousand Moon Smithy. I think I'm going to hold up the Spell Pierce. I think that gives me more control over the earlier portion of this game. Alright. Well, they're going to give something haste. It's probably going to be whatever I Spell Pierce next turn. Alright, cool. So the Spell Pierce is going to kind of make a splash here, hopefully. Let's see if this is the one that perpetually got haste. They could play around this. It'll be Kumano. Kumano represents kind of a lot here. I think we're going to Spell Pierce, even though they will have something in hand with haste. It is what it is. Hopefully not another spell this turn, and maybe they just drop this mana. Cool. 3 steps ahead now. We go tap Tulip Fountain. Sit for turn 3, where we drop a 1/2. That probably ends up dying. But hopefully will set us up for something that can be reanimated turn 4. And then maybe if we drop... Oh, yikes. Well, that would have been probably better to get rid of with Kumano, but it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, kind of misplay here. Needed to shock the Hollowed Fountain. Instead, we're going to take another turn here and not be able to respond. We have to get double white. And, yeah, now things are a little bad. Like, I have to go Simulacrum Synthesizer, dip into my life total a bit. It's a 3-turn clock. Let's see what the next turn is. Opponent is thinking. Might have a kill here. No, not quite. We just go for 5. This annex is going to be a problem. Having a sweeper here would have been the best. We actually do find a smithy, potentially. That will merely be a 2/2, though. Yeah, that's a bit tough. We have 2 whites, so I'll go for blue here. Okay. I think I tap out for the smithy. I think that is probably what I do, unless I want to go Simulacrum Synthesizer. Smithy, make 2 tokens. That makes Emery plus Simulacrum next turn. So I think I go like this. It's just a 2/2. That's so sad. That means I have to take 9 here, which means I die. So now I have to get rid of this 2/2. I go Synthesizer into Emery next turn, and it still does work out. Okay, we died to any direct damage, though. Okay, looks like this might be Embercleave. No, it'll just be a removal of my creature, and we will die here in round 4. Okay, well, you know, in a deck where we're playing a lot of 3-drops and 4-drops, it's not necessarily a guarantee that we'll make it to those later game situations, and this is a good example of that. We did take a hand that did have early interaction in the form of Spell Pierce. I think that probably the Bone Crusher Giant was the worst option here compared to Kumano, but this would have also killed me over time. This may have actually had odds with Thousand Moon Smithy tokens, so one could argue that that would have been a better call. Regardless, I think that this was a good example of us having some game because we prepared for this early interaction, but not really being able to overcome the red aggression. At any rate, here comes round 5. We have one last chance to get a win here with the Construct deck. Here we go. Okay, so opponent just started a game here, and then kind of just left me alone for a little bit. We opened up a hand where we were able to get an early Emery on turn 2. Opponent is on some sort of Leyline deck. They've shown a Llanowar Elves and 2 Tangled Veils. So I don't know if this is mono green ramp or something different. My current guesses were something like Juggle the Performance, which we don't seem to have the colors for, and maybe some deck that's trying to either ramp out of Leyline or use these in order to get a good 3-drop. So regardless, we go here, we go Emery. Emery gets Simulacrum Synthesizer. Play that. Seems good. We get to scry 2. We have an Ornithopter to block another 1,000 moons. How many... We're going to actually have a lot of artifacts soon, so I think the extra 1,000 moons is not bad. And actually it doesn't matter because we do need to shuffle away, and I'm going to shuffle away. Rebrowser, we will probably get rid of this one then. Alright, cool. No attacks, we say go. Once again, they're thinking for a little bit. I have not seen anything impactful just yet. This is going to be harmonized to draw 3. And they've shocked in the Agadeem for some reason. They'll make another Land of War Elves. How interesting. Well, Fabled Passage will be getting my 4th land. We'll make it blue. And we can just get 1,000 Moons Smithy here, and we should have enough artifacts to flip on the following turn. Should definitely have enough. And is there another Ornithopter in here? No, there's not. Why am I getting target? Oh, it's the 1,000 Moon Smithy. Okay, there we go. We pass. No need to attack here. We do get in for 1 with Emery. Cool. Another shocking. Ah, it's Belcher, that's why. Okay, cool. So we're dead to Belcher. How interesting. So we are dead to mono green Belcher? No, red green Belcher. Alright, so let's take a look at this deck here. Just a Shatter Skull. Oh, this is Jund Belcher. I wonder what they were playing. Kind of interesting. Probably assemble the team. Looking for the rituals. Okay, interesting deck. Definitely have not played Jund Belcher before, so that one's definitely new. To see them play Leylines is also kind of interesting. Not sure that I see Leyline of the Guild Pact being a very strong card in that deck, but you know, it was able to get them a win here. Because that was so fast, I'm going to go ahead and just queue back into a re-record here, and hopefully this will end things off. I've had pretty much 3 recording sessions that were just bowling over of lower powered decks, so hopefully this will be the start of something that we can work with. I think triple Emery with no acceleration is a pretty easy mulligan. This is turn 1 Emery. I'm down. We can hold up Spell Pierce through it, but I don't think we want to do that. We just go for blue here, Ornithopter, Emery. Hope that we mill something good. And that will constitute a turn 1 win here with opponent scooping to Emery. We are going to go back for round 5, version 3. Let's just queue right back up. Hope for a quick queue. It's been good so far to me. Hopefully we just get out of here quick. Come on. We need to get back in. Alright, cool. After a little bit of a break here, we are back. Probably not going to cut the recording there. Let's get in there against Luke. Early Emery. No early Emery. That sucks. Simulacrum eventually, though. And then we just hold up some counter magic. I think I'm down. Start with Spell Pierce. We can probably hold Spell Pierce for 2 turns so I can go Meticulous the second turn. Surveil. Do we want more than 4 lands? I say no. Alright. Well, for this, we can go pay 2 life, play an Ornithopter, get a discounted Emery, still hold up Spell Pierce. Nothing great here. We actually have nothing to get back. if we need to lose this Ornithopter at some point, it's fine. Cultivate, this will slow them down a little bit. Probably want to be doing that against any sort of ramp deck for sure. We gotta go Synthesizer, I'd say. Synthesizer, we have Spell Pierce to be brought back with Mystic Sanctuary next turn if we want it. Scry 2, we gotta find something that triggers this, which will be another Simulacrum. Sounds good. Let's attack with Emery. Alright, next turn we start to produce an army. Here's a Simulacrum Synthesizer. Hopefully we'll set up our next turn as well. What's going to happen from opponent? They're just looking at this like they want to do something about it. Instant speed effects in green could be naturalized, stuff like this. Probably thinking about killing my other Simulacrum Synthesizer. I mean, really, this is not the end of the world. If they were to get rid of it, they will not, though. So make a 4/4. Another Emery, another Mystic Sanctuary. I don't think we want either of those. Mystic Sanctuary again. I think that we will do this just so that we can cast No More Lies. I'm going to decline the trigger here, though. We decline to put on top. We get in for 1. Ah, Nightpack Ambusher. Okay. Well, we're going to No More Lies that. And then now we get to go in for 1. So now we know that this is Simic Flash. This so shakes the world, sure. Now if I get a good draw on top, this becomes a very nice situation for me. So we do not find it. We go to Surveil here and find it off of the top. It'll be 1,000 Moons. Let's go. Alright, Emery, target 1,000 Moons. And let's cast that sucker. Make 3 bodies. Alright, that's 8/8. They will need to lose their land to keep Nissa alive. Probably worth it for them. They will have 8 mana here, though. Luckily, I think we probably just kill here, unless they do something about the board. Portal to Phyrexia. They will tap out here. I get rid of Ornithopter and Emery. I don't know if I get rid of Emery, actually. I think I get rid of 2 of my 8/8s. It's fine. These get significantly smaller, but it's okay. They can bring back my Ornithopters and Emerys, which is awkward. We're still bigger than the forest. I think I do flip this eventually, but the question is it now? I think I need to attack Nissa down soon. We will need to play the Ornithopter back. We're probably not likely to discard, so I'll hold this as some scary spell. Nissa will be at 1 next turn, so close to death. Okay, jump block another forest. We're at least keeping their land drops in check. Eventually they'll run out of things to do. For now we end turn. They're going to get my Emery. Unless they have something better in their side. They do not. So it will be Emery. They're going to just have to decide if they mill. I think that makes a lot of sense for them to do. We don't really have many targets for this portal, so that's at least nice. Oh, I forgot that I had dedicated Dollmaker, sure. If they target any of my artifacts, that'd be great for me. Let's see if they understand how dedicated Dollmaker works. I think the correct one is one of the tokens right now. Except you can't target that, so it's probably just... It actually doesn't really have any good targets right now. Because really this is not removal, this is just reset your creature that you're building. Alright, so we still get an Emery back, it's fine. And, nice. That makes it an artifact, right? Yeah, that's hilarious. Wait, no. This is... Yeah, no, it did make it an artifact. Pretty cool. So that makes me some more creatures. They are dead to some degree, if I'm reading this right. We'll attack in with a bunch of 9/9s this coming turn. Alright. Just an Ornithopter. We will tap 5. Cool. Here's an Ornithopter. Here's a Hollowed Fountain. We are just going to attempt to kill. They have to block, and we will whittle down that board quite a bit. You can let one hit, and they'll keep attack damage for sure. Go to 8. They'll get to reanimate the dedicated doll maker. Again, not a very good one for them. It's kind of just a body. Alright. We're back to the song and dance of having a bunch of things to balance against. We will block Toski, not give them a card draw. They do get to start getting bigger here, and now I can do my Thousand Moon Smithy thing. We will cast that with our other Thousand Moon Smithy, and now we just go super wide. 3 more things, 15 15s, and now we move to combat. Go in with 1, 2, 3, 4. They get a trump again, and we're just going to keep this board tiny. They will need to block. No way around it here. Alright, cool. So it's the top deck now, one thing off the top from Portal and a Nissa plus. Should have it on this next turn. We are nearing 100. Oh, we actually are over 100 damage on the battlefield. They can try this again. They can take my Thousand Moon, Simulacrum, it's all good. Yep, they realize that Ornithopter is the only legal target right now, unless they want to get rid of their Toski. And they have a Delirium 1/1. It is not going to be enough. So we'll finally, after quite a few recordings of me kind of just destroying some starter decks in the Historic queue, we finally get some good matchups here to end the day out. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck. This was a fun one to play, and it's really cool to get these huge boards of big constructs. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and comment. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That being said, that'll bring me to the end of this video, so hope you enjoyed, glad to have you here, and I'll see you in the next one.